My name is Cortland Jenkins, and I'm an associate producer and creative production intern at HOMTV in Meridian Township. Today, I'm speaking with Executive Director Scott Duimstra of Capital Area District Libraries about the library reopening. And my first question is, what are Capital Area District Libraries' plans until it is officially reopened?
With the current Stay Home, Stay Safe executive order, only essential staff can report. And so those are individuals who kind of check on the security of the buildings, have to do any financial stuff that needs to be done while we're closed. And so those are the only individuals that can currently report to our facilities. The majority of our staff who are needed to get things up and running for us to be able to offer services like circulating items are not allowed in the facilities yet. If that executive order currently expires on the date that it's supposed to, we'll bring staff in the following week to get things ready for what reopening will look like for us. There's another executive order in place that says the public can't enter a library or museum until after May 28th. What we have to do to get staff back into place, we didn't have any projections to be able to open or offer anything to the public by May 18th as well. So for us, it's going to take a little bit to get our staff back in and then to get the library set up to follow with the social distancing guidelines that are in place.
I want to actually expand on when you said after the 28th, public facilities being open. And when that does happen after the 28th, depending on the stay home, stay safe executive orders, will there be a limit to how many people can come into the library?
We're looking at current executive orders that are in place. We're also looking at what retailers are having to do right now as far as percentage of their occupancy limits. And so that's why we want to start out with curb and door side and then slowly open up other services. And that level 2 is access to our library facilities. And we have to figure out based on occupancy limits, kind of how we can do that in a percentage of an occupancy limit, because we have 13 locations and they all differ in the size of the facility and also how the space is laid out. We have to take all that into consideration. And it's not just the square footage that we have to look at, but we have to look at the amount of shelving, furniture, public computers actually in the space. And with all that taken into account, how can we guarantee that staff and the public are still able to follow social distancing guidelines? So that's all the behind the scenes that we're working on. But that level 1 service with the curb and door side pickup, that'll slowly open up to a level 2 service where that's maybe certain sections of the library are only open to you, maybe certain services, and then also looking at how many individuals can actually be in the library space as well. And then if there's a limit for occupants, how do you safely wait before you enter the facility too? So those are all kind of things that we're in the process of working on for what those guidelines will look like. And for a timeline, we're potentially rolling out that curb and door side pickup. Possibly June 1st is the date that we're trying to do that right now. If the current executive orders expire and they're not extended, moving beyond that to work with local, state, and federal health officials to see when it's okay to kind of slowly open up some of those other services.
There have been virtual story times on social media and your website. Will those continue even after the stay home, stay safe executive order?
We want to continue the virtual story times that we offer, and those have been fantastic. We've got some great comments, great attendance, great viewership, and it's a way that we've been able to showcase the talent of our librarians and our library assistants as well. So they're from Williamston, they're from Okemos, they're from Mason. People throughout our service area have been able to view those individual story times. And so it's been great, and it's something that we're going to continue probably in the foreseeable future. What we're looking at is kind of different stages of levels of service. And the first one that we want to start out with is a curb or doorside pickup for materials. So you could place items on hold on our website, or you could call one of our libraries and get some recommendations from our staff for titles that you might be interested in and place those on hold. And then when you're ready, sign up for a slot for you to come pick up those items. And this will be contactless. So our staff will be wearing personal protective equipment, but we also ask that you don't try to interact with them. We want to keep them safe, but also you safe as well. And so if it's a curbside pickup, we ask that you pop your trunk in. We'll place the items inside your trunk. If it's a door pickup, we'll have the items in a bag on a table, either in right directly inside the library doors, or for some of our other spaces where there's a lobby before you actually enter the library, we'll try to have it in the lobby as well. We're just trying to make it as easy as possible for individuals to pick up those items while also trying to make it as safe as possible.
With so many in-person events being canceled this summer, will Capital Area District Libraries be holding a summer reading event that would normally take place, or will something new or different happen this year due to the pandemic?
We definitely have to do something different. Summer reading is a combination of kind of the reading challenge, and the purpose is meant to combat the summer slide. So these are kids who are learning literacy skills during the school year. Summer rolls around, they might not be reading as much. So summer reading is meant to encourage them to read for a certain amount of time throughout the summer. And that's one part of it. The other part is the in-person programs that we have. So whether it's a magician, whether it's a musical act, those are all the performers that we bring in. We won't be able to have the performer side of it because there isn't a safe way for us to do in-person events in the summer, but we will still have the reading component of it too. And that's probably the thing that's the highest value for students in our area, for parents, but there's also a part of it for adults too. And so there's children, there's teens, and there's adult categories. That will still be part of it. A couple of years ago, we moved how you log your reading time to an online environment, and we're actually so glad that we did that because now it's very easy for us to continue to offer summer reading through an online environment. With that, you actually track how many minutes that you read. And if you're like me, who have some small children at home and they like a paper log, can actually print those off and your kids can follow along with their reading progress with a paper log as well. We'll still have that part of it. It's just the in-person part that we can't do. We always have prizes to go along with it too. So the more you read, you get prizes. We don't know if we'll be able to give those prizes to you in person. One thing that we can do is if we have a curb and a doorside pickup model, we can always put your prizes along with the items that you're picking up. And so you'll be able to get them. And along with that, we always have activities that you can do. So these are kind of some make and take craft ideas for story times, for summer reading events. We'll be able to get those out to the public as well through urban doorside pickup too. So we'll have more as we get to that point about promoting how you can actually get those items, but we'll make it easy for the public to actually have access to some of those items. But even though we can't do it in person, we're going to, behind the scenes, think very creatively on how we can continue to offer that for the public.
Is there anything you would like to personally say about the Capital Area District Libraries reopening, as well as concerns people may have when you reopen?
For the public, I just ask for your patience. This is a new model for us. We've never had a model like this. And like everyone out there, we're trying to figure it out while dealing with the current crisis and dealing without having access to our facilities. We will get there. But again, just ask for your patience. We'll continue to kind of work the kinks out as we go along. For items that are currently checked out, we've extended all the due dates for those up until June 15th. For items that are on hold for individuals that they're just waiting to pick up, those would be on hold until June 22nd. But we just want to ensure everyone's safety as well. So if you have items that are checked out, even after we kind of reopen our services and you're sick, please reach out to us. We don't want you to put yourself in danger or anyone else in danger to actually get those items back to us. Reach out to us. We'll work with you to make sure that you can safely use the library and that we can safely provide service to you as well. Some of the comments that we get most is they see how long COVID-19 lives on items. And one of the first questions that I had was, how safely is it to handle library items then? The Institute for Museum and Library Services, they're called IMLS. They worked with the CDC, getting some recommendations on how safe it is to handle library items. And they found that it's safe. It's very unlikely that COVID-19 could get past with handling library items. And in the media, there's been recommendations on kind of how long it lives on objects. Paper-based products like cardboard, it's set up to 24 hours. And what we've heard from the CDC is that's in ideal lab conditions. When it's kind of out in the real world, it doesn't necessarily live that long. The amount of it on an item is not that strong. And so it'd be very difficult to actually transmit it. But we still want to be very cautious. We're following the recommendations of the CDC, which is to just set aside our items for 24 hours that are returned, or we shelve them and check them in or get them on the hold shelf for another item. They recommended after that time that they're safe to handle for our staff and then for the public as well. And that's paper items like books. It's hardcover books like with the plastic covering. That's hard plastic, like DVD and BCD cases. We'll institute that. We'll make sure that those items are set aside before they're actually handled by staff and then by the public. We just ask for the public's patience because if you return an item, it might be 24 or 48 hours before it's actually checked in. It will get checked in. You won't be charged overdue items if it's a day later or 2 days later that it's checked in. So we just ask for your patience. We're following recommendations from the CDC so that we know it's safe for staff to handle and in turn safe for the public to handle as well.